Welcome to Connecting the Galaxy. I apologize for the delay, it has been a while, but today we're going to go through Force Collector. Force Collector is a young adult novel by Kevin Shinick. It is part of the Journey to Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. This is the last book we'll go through from that program, the others being Resistance Reborn, Allegiance, the comic book miniseries, and Spark of the Resistance. This book is after Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, and before Episode 7, The Force Awakens. If you're into reading the material directly before and after this, then it follows the junior novel, The Legends of Luke Skywalker, and immediately following it is Age of the Resistance, Poe Dameron, the comic book. Here is the publisher summary found at starwars.fandom.com/wiki/Force Collector. This is a great site also if you'd like to see any more information about the timeline. It's a great place to check all this out. Car is a teenage boy like many others in the galaxy, but he has a secret. When he touches certain objects, he gets visions of people he doesn't know and places he's never been. Car's grandmother is convinced the visions come from the Force, but are there any Jedi left to guide Car in the use of his abilities? Accompanied by Maisie, the unpredictable new girl at school, and RZ-7, Car's droid companion, he sets off into the larger galaxy to find the truth. His adventures will take him from Utapau to Jakku to Takodana and beyond as he learns more about the Jedi than he could have expected, and about his own place in the Force. This book was a fun one, and I loved how it jumped through the timeline of Star Wars by introducing the visions of Karnuk Sin. Now, this is a great crash course on Star Wars, so I can see why it was included in the Rise of Skywalker publishing program. This is also maybe the third time that we see a character use psychometry, which is, touching the objects and seeing the visions. So, saying that now, let's jump into the connections. As I was saying, this is maybe the third time we see Force visions by the power of psychometry. For those of you that don't know, this is when a Force user touches an object and can tell where that object has been or the events that the object has been connected to. We see that with Quinlan Vos in the Clone Wars series and also in the book Dark Disciple. Most recently, the power of psychometry has shown up in the new game from Electronic Arts, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. The game's main character is Cal Kestis, a Jedi who has the ability to use psychometry, or as it's known in the game, Force Echo. Along with his friend RZ-7 and Maisie, Car travels to Utapau. Now you may recognize this from Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and the Clone Wars series. Here is where Obi-Wan met Tian Medon, and they had a conversation if you remember the movie, and then also where Obi-Wan took down General Grievous at the end of the war. Here he has visions of Tian Medon and the events of Episode 3, the conversation we just talked about, when Jedi Obi-Wan Kenobi meets the port administrator of Pao City. Car and his companions also travel to Jakku. More of you may know this location simply because it was a big part of Episode 7, The Force Awakens, and was where we first met Rey. Jakku is a world full of junk from a battle that took place there following Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, and the fall of the Empire. Another character they may come in contact with is Ukkar Plutt, who you will remember as the grumpy junker that gave out rations of food to Rey and the others that were collecting in The Force Awakens, and he is also the one-time owner of the stolen Millennium Falcon. The group then traveled to Takodana, also found in The Force Awakens, home of Maz Kanata and her pirate castle. Maz Kanata gained a reputation as a pirate queen and is Force sensitive. She is very old and may well have been alive for over a millennium. She serves as someone that gives advice and helps those in need, and the part in the book with Maz is very interesting and worth checking out if you're a fan of hers. Maz has been in all 3 films of the sequel trilogy. Jedi Master Cypher Dyas has been a mystery in Star Wars ever since he was first mentioned in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. He also had an appearance in the Clone Wars series to the more recent book Dooku, Jedi Lost. Karn has a vision involving him and the Pikes, who are also seen in Solo, a Star Wars story. And to me, this is a great connection if you've wondered about the creation of the Clone Army and how all of that had taken place. Obi-Wan Kenobi is in many visions of Cars, and he's the character that links it all together for him since he trained both Luke and Anakin Skywalker and was a major figure in the Clone Wars and the fall of the Republic. It is very interesting to see everything from Car's point of view as he struggles to understand the Jedi and the events surrounding Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan. Luke Skywalker is a mythic figure at this time, and some people question if he even exists. For much of the book, Carr has Anakin and Luke confused, and it's fun to see how he unravels the mystery. He finally discovers the key to it all when he sees a vision of Anakin Skywalker in his fall and the rise of Darth Vader as shown in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. This is easily my favorite book in the Rise of Skywalker collection. There are just so many connections to make with all these characters. I try to keep the videos short because there are a ton that I didn't mention. Stuff going back to Rogue One, the prequels, and the original trilogy, and then also the sequels. But I hope you pick this book up and check it out. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.